Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Lions Den. Today we're going to go over something that I never thought I would have made, a tier list for Hero Wars. I'm going to do a list just on the heroes, just for basic what's good and what's bad. Personally, I've never been a fan of tier lists, but I think it does help in general people's path where to go in the game, because if you start leveling ones that are in the bottom tier, later on it's just a waste of resources. I had to do this about 7 times. I remade it, moved around people all the time. I had help from the community who gave me their reasons and their feedback on why people should be higher and lower. But at the end of the day, everyone's opinions are going to be different. Hopefully, this is a nice generic guide that will help anyway. As when it comes to like who to improve glyph wise and stuff like that, I think that's a whole new list altogether. So yeah, I'm just going to go over the tier list that I've made. We're just going to say why they're there and what they're normally used for and why some are lower ones. And yeah, so let's do it. And there it is. That is my tier list that I made over the last couple of days with help from the community. We've got the S Plus, which is the basic. If you can get them, get them. They are probably the most used every day in wars. You'll see them in every single lineup in arena and stuff like that. So these are like the must-haves. The S tier below it, I mean, not far off S plus really. Still very, very highly used heroes that you'll see every single day, but just not to the game changer that S plus are. The A tier ones are basically going to be really good heroes that you will see a lot of, but they're definitely not in the same tier as the other two. The ones like the twins are 50-50. It depends. The new rework for them did help, but ones like Salel and Astrid, Andy, stuff like that, they're definitely A tier. B tier, these are mainly fill-in support ones. As you can see, you have your Jorgen, Faceless, Nebula, Amira, Phobos. Basically, ones that you do use, but not near as much as the other two. The C tier ones are the very niche ones. You've got a lot of the nature heroes in there, like Darkstar, Elmir, DD, Daredevil, even. They're the ones that you'll see for like Hydra and stuff like that. You've got ones like Karth, not used much anymore. And then your D ones are just ones that you'll barely ever see up top unless people are just bored and mucking around. So we're just doing a quick overview of the heroes. So let's start. Let's start with the bottom. Let's start with those. So you've got Galahad, Ishmael, Cornelius, Jet, Marcus, Fox, Thea, and Kai. Kai could have his own level because she's so bad, so bad. And I'm just doing that to wind up a friend. Ishmael, again, just not a used hero at the moment. I know people that have him glyphed at 80 and still don't really see a difference. So just not that useful in the game in general. Galahad is an okay tank at the beginning, but completely fizzles out. Cornelius, just not used, doesn't do enough to actually warrant a place. Jet, quite hard to get at the beginning because of soul stones and just doesn't really do anything because crit just gets counted very easy at the moment. Marcus, again, very niche. I can't remember the last time I saw a Marcus anywhere, to be honest with you. Fox, I've seen a couple of times just for people mucking around. Again, just doesn't do the job others do. Thea doesn't do much at all. The silence could be handy. She had a rework, it just didn't work out. And Kai is Kai. Onto the C tier. These are the heroes that you will use very niche. So, I mean, Luther does come in handy for some very rare occasions that I've used. For ones for like against Progress, there is a line with Luther, Salel, and like Iris. So it's a very good team, but again, very niche. Lilith comes down here because she's just not used in Chaos much anymore. As you can see from the top ones, you've got a lot of Chaos heroes at the top end, so Lilith is just passed by basically. Dorian, again, very niche. Does have uses, don't get me wrong, but just nowhere near the level. Kira was awesome back in the days of Kira, Sebastian, and Jet. Was awesome, absolutely chewed through people. But now Kira just doesn't do the damage to actually kill anyone all you do is buff up the enemy team and then they slaughter you, basically. Arachne, again, very niche hero. We thought she would be brilliant with Polaris. It hasn't really worked out like that. People have gone the Orion route instead, and like Folio and other heroes just hasn't worked out basically for her. Darkstar and Elmir. Darkstar just not used much at all. With Elmir and you've got Daredevil in here as well. Those three, even with Dorian, can make a decent team for Hydra. Uh, Back in the day, used to be a good team with them because they used to do a lot of front tank damage. But now with glyphs and all the new gear, just fizzled out quite a long time ago. Zhu, again, very good for Hydra at the beginning, but just doesn't do anything in PvP. Maya, very niche, used to be used against some Octavia lines, but not anymore. Now that Polaris has come in and others, not the same. Zeri, just don't know why she is that low of a tank. She just doesn't do what others do. She's hasn't found a way because she doesn't go with the mystery lineup very well, and that's her faction. So there's just not much to go on. QM, good old Queen Mao. Yeah, I mean, again, niche. People throw her in some random teams now and again. People put her with Fafnir, and it can work, but again, not very likely. The Turtles was a an interesting conversation. Some people wanted her higher, some people wanted her at the top, them even at the top. Personally, I just don't see them anymore. It was compared to Lara, who is quite a solid meta hero. Turtles just haven't gone that way at all. Just didn't find a way to use them amazingly, so they gave up. Onto Mr. Squid, Karth. Well, again, quite niche. You can use him. It's not that he's D. He's not that he's at the bottom, but very easily counted by Andvari. So it just doesn't really work out. Used to be back in the day. Could use him to kill twins when he used to tank. Aurora, unfortunately, doesn't really do well with the dodge meta of Octavia and Dante and Nebula and stuff like that. It's better off having Corvus or Dante as a tank, basically. As for Peppy, again, just not used, basically. So that's why Peppy's down there. B tier. These heroes, not as bad, but definitely not ones you'll concentrate on heavily. These are the heroes that you'll swap it in for teams to counter other teams, like the Faceless, Jorgen, Amira. Again, Amira isn't a support, obviously, but just very easily countered through progress. So it just doesn't seem to do justice at the moment. Ginger, I think, is just worse than Astrid, so she can't be up there with Astrid. As for Celeste, has its choices and options, but again, just not highly used up top. You've also got Chabba and Cleaver down there in the B. Again, just tanks that aren't used very much. Cleaver more so than Luther and Zeri, so that's why he's above them. Phobos, again, used quite a lot, but just not a hero that you would concentrate on. Heidi, well, definitely counters like Octavia and like Octavia Iris teams and stuff like that, but again, outside of that, not that great. To the left of Orion, Heidi, we've got Orion. Used sometimes. I know, Neff, my friend, I know you use him a lot, but you have him at GAE and it's just not the same compared to G40. Again, this is a tier list without glyphs. This is just a generic from beginner to close to endgame, I would say. And then you've got Helios, again, great at countering crit. Uses Helios in the line with Luther and Salel that I said earlier against Progress. It's a very solid counter. Mojo on the left, last one. I mean, yeah, again, has uses, but even like Hydra again with Zhu is a decent two heroes to use for Hydra at the beginning when you're upgrading your other PvP teams. But again, outside of that, not so much. Salel was a hard one. I don't personally use Salel that much, but other people have said how much they use him, so I bumped him up to A. Like I said, I do use him for that Luther team, but that's about it. And Vary was very good against heroes like with the Octavia lines, and I also use him against Yasmin tanks and Oya tanks to stun. So used quite a lot, I would say. The twins. Ah, again, an odd one where to put them. People love them and say like S plus tier. Some of them say they're still poor, they still get counted very easily, but the rework has definitely helped. I've lost against them a couple of times, which is disgraceful, but again, it all depends. If you've got them built, they can come in handy in a full chaos line. It can be a bit different. Leanne, again, very useful, used quite a lot, but it's just like for me, it's like a worse version of Tempest. She does well, she does what she does. Say against Satori when Satori does the splash attack, it sleeps him. When Kayla jumps into the backline, Leanne will stun him. Kayla, yeah. So again, has uses also used quite a lot with the Chaos AXA lines. If you don't know what AXA is, I've done a Chaos video, so you can just have a look there. I've explained it. And then you have the progress ones. It was hard whether to put them a bit higher, but I think A is decent for them. You've got Isaac, Judge, and Astrid, three U's that are going to be used quite a lot together. They are used most days, I would say. Judge is used quite a lot now with Polaris because they do quite well together. Astrid can be used as well against Kayla because sorry. Astrid will summon Lucas, and that gives your team an armor buff before Kayla jumps. So it does help a bit, but overall, a very decent set of heroes progress in general. I would always recommend building them. Then we've got Dante again with the Octavia meta lines at the moment. Dante is used quite a lot, so that's why he's up there. Satori with the rework doesn't require much investment to take down teams, which is I think a big plus for Satori. Satori's ult will just completely wipe a team most times, unless obviously you're against the counters like Progress, Nebula, and like Celeste, because Celeste clears the marks from Satori. So that's why it's bad. But definitely much better with the rework. Now we're on to the ones that you should probably look at investing in, I would say. Minus maybe a couple. But you've got Lara. Lara was much better than the Turtles because they're all the way down in C, but used heavily in endgame, does a lot of damage. Can't go wrong. Oh, sorry about that. So you've got Tristan, Fafnir, Oya, three heroes that are used so much together in endgame with like Kayla and Aiden. In the middle game, even with like Yasmin and stuff like that, and another tank, they can all be used together. Really good trio combo there for any team, starting from low game to end game basically. Mushy, massive for Hydra, one of the best with like Aiden, Faceless, and a couple of other heroes that can take down most Hydra heads by themselves. Also, pretty good in PvP. You don't see her as much. People put her in AXA teams as a tank sometimes instead of Astaroth. It can work out, but again, a bit niche in that sense. Corvus and Morrigan, again, two heroes that just across the board are used. Corvus, obviously, against the likes of Yasmin, Iris, Kira, if you use Kira, can kill Kayla as well, but that can be dodgy depending on glyphs. Morrigan used obviously with Corvus and can be used without. The use of her skeletons to attract Zisha ult is highly used later on in game. I use it all the time with a niche combo to beat AXA teams. Iris is just Iris with Octavia, Dante, etc. Just very powerful. Yasmin, again, just a better version of like Artemis, but not as good as the siblings Kayla and Aiden, so that's why she's an S. And Rufus with the rework, very good hero. You see Rufus quite a lot now in Endgame in many different variations. And S plus, it's like I would say minus Astaroth are like your meta game changing heroes. You've got your Tempest, who again is just like a better version of Leanne, used a lot with Astaroth, Zisha, Aiden, as I said earlier. So yeah, just a staple of endgame. Folio, again, very good hero now, especially with the new skins, but even at lower end, the damage from Folio's ult can be crazy good, especially combined with other heroes that stun and silence. Cascade, one of my favourite heroes, a lot of damage, disrupts the line with the, I don't know what you want to call it, like the sprint forwards and back, the glide. So yeah, definitely S plus. I've got him at G80, amazing hero. You've got Kayla, no explanation for Kayla. Kayla is just one of the strongest heroes in the game, full stop. Simple as that. So strong, can wipe out teams very quickly in a second. Julius. Julius is up here mainly because Julius is probably one of the best tanks at the moment, versatility wise. It's not just progress. A lot of people use Julius in their like Yasmin lines with Tristan and Fafnir because of the shield, the crit artifact can help a lot later on. Peach, another very good hero in all Chaos lines. She's a bit confusing about her positioning, depending on how many Chaos heroes are in the team. She goes further back, so that's a bit interesting. But yeah, very, very high damage later on, can hit very hard and wipe teams without you even knowing. Aiden is just Aiden. Probably one of the best supports in the game, especially with Chaos. Can also be used with like Judge and Julius, actually, for the shields, because it does help. But that's like later on with glyphs and stuff like that. But obviously in a Chaos line, Aiden is essential. No one does Aiden's job in a Chaos line more than Aiden. So, and Octavia, everyone knows about Octavia, crazy good, made the dodge meta come back because we never had that before, completely changed Eternity because without her, it just wasn't the same. Zisha, you will see like 9 out of 10 teams, I swear. In arena, I just kill Zisha teams all the time, but she's so strong, especially in a full chaos line with Aiden and heroes that stun, silence, stuff like that, incapacitate the others, and then she can just pop off one by one by one. Simple as that. Polaris is obviously up there. Polaris is like highly meta changing. Even when I like playing drafts and stuff like that, using Polaris with like Lars and the twins or Zisha, even Lilith. Lilith does so much more damage with Polaris because Polaris makes you take extra damage. I haven't seen that as much in game compared to drafts, but that's just probably because there's better options than Lilith. And then last we have Astaroth. He's mainly up here because he's just used all the time in Chaos lines. He is the best tank for Chaos, and they're used so heavily at the moment, whether it's the AXA, Zisha, Aiden, like Tempest Leanne, or even with the siblings, Astaroth, Kayla, Aiden, and then like Zisha Peach, an all Chaos line or something like that is crazy strong, does a lot of damage, and at the beginning, mid game, it's very hard to actually counter that without a proper team. So yeah, this video ran a bit longer than I wanted. I could have just left the tier list here and just not explained anything, but I think it's worth an explanation for people knowing why you should do it. So yeah, D, do not build a tool. C, very niche, kind of like Hydra stuff. D is your like plug-in supports. They're going to be ones that you'll change to counter other people. A, just solid heroes from the get-go, which you can build from the start. Ones like Leanne, though, Leanne could be B because of the fact that she is a plug-in support. But like Progress, Satori, Dante, all very good. S tier, if you get them, build a team with them. I've done videos explaining the teams. And then S plus is just the best of the best. These are the ones that you're going to get. You're going to make a team out, and they're going to be your main team for such a long time. So yeah, I mean, what do you think of my tier list? I came up with it with the community. As I said, we've done some up and down. So what do you think? I mean, let me know. Do you think some should be higher? Do you think some should be lower? Do you think some are completely wrong? So let me know. I hope this helps everyone. I appreciate any feedback as always. Like and subscribe. I plan on coming back later and doing a bit of a video on some build guides on popular teams. So I'm going to go through who to build and what to build on them, like priorities. So hopefully that helps as well. Appreciate it, guys. Cheers. Bye.